Hello, this is Julio Adrian Longoria. Today is April 4th, 2026. Time is 2:18 a.m. This video overview is for Labs Chapter 5, specifically Labs 5.1 to 5.8 for course CPMT 2433 TY1. Lab 5.1. I'm currently logged in as administrator for server 492 at domain492.com. I installed the following services, roles and services: DFS namespaces, DFS replication, file server resource manager, server for NFS, and for features, I installed the DNS server tools. Hands-on project 5.2 member server setup. For this lab, I had to create or make changes to the configurations for the switch for the VM Windows 2019 VM2. I assigned in order to get it to work, I had to assign it an internal virtual switch rather than the external as instructed. And I set the static IP4 address of 192.168.50.1 with default subset mask. And for the host VM, I have the IP4 address of 192.168.1.10 with the default subset mask and default gateway of 192.168.1.1. As you can see here from the Ethernet 2 properties window, specifically the Internet Protocol 4 properties, you can see I assigned the static IP mentioned from the command prompt window, and the preferred server, DNS server, is the same as the IP address shown here. Here on the settings for Windows Server 2019 VM2 on server 492 for network adapter, I set a inner or an inside virtual switch in order to get it to work or function correctly. Within the virtual machine, it's with the internal switch, it's connecting to Ethernet 2, but it has the static IP of 192.168.50.10, and the preferred DNS server is 192.168.1.10, and this ensures connectivity between the server and the Windows Server 19 VM2 virtual machine. As you can see here, the computer name for Windows Server 2019 VM2 is as shown here, and it's currently connected to domain492.com. This is where the work group hyperlink would be located. And if we were to, as you can see, the computer name and connecting to domain 492, by default it was set to work group, but once I configured the settings for the VM to connect to domain492.com, it's using the computer name followed by the domain address in order to connect to the server. Hands-on Lab 5.3, Permissions. This lab specifically goes over how to set permissions to groups or usernames. As you can see here, I have the properties window for marketing materials, and if I go to the security tab, I can see the group and the usernames, and here in the bottom, if I click advanced, I could edit, and I could modify the basic permissions from here. I could also remove any settings made to the groups or users by selecting remove. Within the marketing materials folder, there are 3 text documents, 2 of which have specific settings set to them. It's currently encrypted to secure data. Here we can see who has access to the file. I'm currently logged in as bbert, so he should have access to this file. If we go to Bob Burt and go to his computer, as you can see, marketing materials are here. Considering the fact that file 1 and file 2 have been encrypted, Bob cannot see the files. Here you can see the marketing materials properties window, security tab. Right here you get to see the group and usernames, in this case marketing G and domain admins. And right here you can see the permissions for the marketing G and domains admins. And if I want to make any changes, I could click edit here. I could add, I could remove any groups or users. I could allow, I could deny, and these are the what they're able to modify or execute with the files, or be denied access to those files. So for example, if we go in here, we could see that file 3, file 1 are both encrypted. Encrypted here, and they're being archived. This is Bob Burt's account. As you can see, because the 2 files 1 and 3 are encrypted, he is not able to see the files. However, if I unencrypt, apply, let's go back. As you can see, now Bob has access to file 3. And let's reapply. Well, let's put hidden, apply. You can see no effect to Bob's file, but encryption does hide the file from Bob's account. Hands-on project 5.4, auditing. Loading up the group policy management tool, I could implement auditing policies for the server. As you can see, I have expanded the directory here to the default domain policy, and I right click and click edit, which brings up the group policy management editor. From here, if we navigate to computer configuration, Windows settings, security settings, local policies, audit policy, you can see on the right pane the current policies that are being that have been set. Here I have the File 2 Properties window, open the Security tab, and I click the Advanced right here. And within the Advanced Security Settings for File 2, I click the Auditing tab here, and you can make changes to the file. And if you were to click Edit, so for this specific setting, Marketing G is currently has File 2 set to fail. Basic permissions, they have everything selected here. Notice the error that appears. That's due to not giving permission for the user or groups to see the contents of the file or make any changes to the file. Hands-on Project 5.5 Attributes. So if we were to right click on text document here, Properties, we can set attributes here. The hidden attribute, which hides the file. Right now you could view it, but by unchecking the setting, hidden files will not appear. So let's go ahead and uncheck this and set it to read only. Apply. As you can see, I have some text here. This work is in progress, or this is work in progress for file 3 text. But if I was to make some changes, let's say April 4, 2026, save. As you can see, it opens a Save As window, considering that I cannot save the changes specifically to file 3. It needs to be renamed into a different file name, and that's due to the attribute setting of read only. So if we unmark it, apply, and reattempt this, and click save, we can see that changes have been applied to file 3. When the read only attribute is unchecked. Again, as I mentioned, because the files are encrypted, you cannot see file 1 and 2 on his end. So let me go ahead and remove the encryption and set it as read only. As you can see, file 3 is right here. I'll go ahead and put Bob's name. And as you can see, um, the same result occurs with the read-only attribute set. Um, it You cannot save the changes specifically to file 3. It needs to be renamed to a different file name in order to save uh, any changes that was made to file 3 without actually saving over the uh, what's already in the document itself. Any changes that are made on the host VM will affect Bob's account. Let me go ahead and minimize this. So properties, read only hidden. So let's uncheck read only, uncheck hidden, apply. Okay, go to Bob's account. We can see file 3 here, properties, and you can see that the attributes have been removed, and these changes were done from the server itself. Hands-on project 5.6, sharing folders. So from the server, I created this folder for marketing templates. If we right click properties, currently set to read only, but we're going to go ahead and click the sharing tab, and right here, advanced sharing. In order to share this folder, you would select this box, give it the name, add any comments if necessary. Permissions can be added here, either to anyone or even administrators. You can add and remove. Also note the network path, this being server 492, marketing templates. Current owners is administrators, and administrator is set to read or write, but you can change it to read or remove entirely. Okay, server 492, and I'll just go ahead and click it, and as you can see, Bob is currently connecting to the server, has access to the marketing template folder. Within the folder, there's a text document of file 4. Does not have reader hidden attributes. These are the settings applied for administrators, domain admins, which is basically full control. Administrator has full control, but marketing G can read and execute, and read only. And of course, you could edit here as previously acknowledged. So let's go ahead and open this. I made a note here. Let's just type in Bob. Again, due to the settings applied from the server, we are not allowed to make any changes. We can only read and execute and read. Therefore, in order to apply the changes of adding Bob's name to file 4, well, it has to be renamed to a different file. It can't be file 4. Hands-on project 5.7, DFS. So this from server manager, if we start DFS management, we can create namespaces, and here's one I created for domain 492.com warehouse, and is currently set to the Toronto site. And let's see, we could see the properties, and this will be enable this uh, box enables the referrals for this target folder, thus being server 492 marketing materials, share permissions. Anybody in the Toronto site has full control, can change and read, and you could go ahead and add and remove users or groups. You could set it to, in this case, marketing materials to use inherit permissions from the local file system. So again, those permissions thus being full control, read, write. Though you could set it to so that it could be inherited from the local server, or you could set explicit view permissions for the DFS folder. And for the last hands-on lab, quota and file screens. As you can see, I currently have the properties window for local disk C, and I have it opened in the quota tab. Here you could enable or disable quota management. You could allow or deny this space to users exceeding quota limit. So currently they have no limit, but if I wanted to apply it, you could set whatever size of disk usage limit for the volume. I'll go ahead and separate it back. Login options for this volume. So we have the options to log event when a user exceeds their quota limit, and we also have here the option to log event when a user exceeds their warning level. You see, we have a Bob right here. The amount used by Bob is 48.79 megabytes, and it has no limit, and no limit for the warning either. But let's say if I was to set a quota for 50 megabytes, he would most likely get the warning that he's reaching his limit, and also the warning for when he does exceed their limits. This has been a basic overview of hands-on projects 5.1 through 5.8. And thank you for watching.